Alright, so we want to do an example. I guess we're not going to use the actual pans. We're going to do a different example. Alright, we want to know what the area of this, the surface area of this rectangle is and the surface area of this circle. And so we know that the area is equal to length times width. So we can say this is 6 feet times 10 feet, which is equal to 60 feet squared. Notice we multiplied feet times feet, so we not only have the number go up, but now we have feet squared. Now, interestingly, if we want to change this units, we talked about we're going to use metric units. So we say I want to go from feet squared to meters squared. We're going to use the same procedure. We'll have 1 foot is equal to 0.3048 meters. But notice this foot does not completely cancel this foot squared. You have an extra foot squared, so we have to square this. We're going to square everything that's inside this bracket. And that will be equal to 60 times 0.3048 squared is 5.57 meters squared. So we want to check, is this answer reasonable? If we look at the feet squared value, we know that 6 times 10, alright, so we're less than 100 because we have 10 times 10 would be 100, and we're greater than 50 because 5 times 10 would be 50, so this seems reasonable. That seems reasonable, check. And then is this calculation reasonable? We know that there's 3 feet per meter, so there's about 9 feet squared per meter squared, so this should be about 9 times smaller than this one, and it seems to be about there, so it seems reasonable. Reasonableness check. Next we want to do the surface area of this circle here. We're going to calculate the surface area of this bit. So the area of the circle is equal to pi over 4d squared. Alright, in the previous slide we said it was pi r squared. But the thing about it is it's very hard to measure a radius. Alright, a radius is half of a diameter. R equals d over 2. But if I go and measure a pan, I'm going to measure the diameter. So in my opinion, it's a good idea to get used to this equation. Pi over 4 is equal to d squared, so that's the example I'm going to give. So we're looking for the area. This is equal to pi over 4 times 6 feet squared, which is equal to second pi divided by 4 times 6 squared. That's 28.3 feet squared. Now this is harder to check. Is it reasonable? We have 28.3. Do we know? I don't keep areas of circles in my head. I don't have a good reference point for this off the top of my head, but I can do some reference checking on the math. I know 6 squared is 36. And I know 3.14 divided by 4 is slightly less than 1. 3 is less than 4, so we have slightly less than 1. So we should be somewhat smaller than 36, but on the same order of magnitude. So that's what we have here, so I think it's reasonable. That's checks. And then we want to convert this to meters. So we would have 1 foot over 0.3048 meters. And then we need to square it once again because we have feet squared here and only feet here. So that's going to be equal to 28.3 times 0.3048 squared is 2.63 meters squared. So is this reasonable? Is it reasonable? Well, once again, we're going to divide by a little more than 9, and so this is on the order of 10 times less. So that seems reasonable to me. Reasonableness